In 420 BC, a young Roman woman was arrested and threatened with death because she dressed too well and her jokes were too funny. Her story reveals the stakes behind one of the highest positions of authority for women at that time. For almost 1,000 years, 6 women in Rome had more power, prestige, and influence than almost anyone else. But they had to live under a vow of chastity that could result in them being buried alive if broken. I'm reading the history of Rome by Livy each day and talking about the highlights. We're on day 25, let's get into it. They were called the Vestal Virgins, and their primary duty was taking care of the sacred flame of Vesta. The fire represented the life force of Rome, and the Vestals were its keeper. Each year they would renew the flame by concentrating sunlight through a brass disc. Letting it go out was considered a very bad omen and could result in a beating. The women were selected before puberty from Rome's most elite families. Only girls without any defects and with 2 living parents could be chosen. They would serve for 30 years, and during that time, they were answerable only to Rome's highest religious figure. Unlike most women, they could write their own wills and manage property themselves. They could also give property to another woman, something that not even the men of Rome could do. One of their chief privileges came from their ability to pardon criminals. This extended even to the highest levels of government. Julius Caesar might not even have survived if he was not pardoned by a Vestal Virgin from a death sentence early on in his career. But they faced an unpleasant death if they committed any sexual offense. And Livy writes about an accusation leveled against one Vestal named Postumia, who raised suspicions just because she dressed well and talked rather more freely and wittily than a young girl should. Not much is really known about her except for that she came from one of Rome's most leading noble families. For her crime of looking good and telling jokes, she faced a death sentence. Now, there doesn't really seem to be any actual evidence against her because she got off with a warning from the Pontifex Maximus. After that, she pretty much drops out of history. But her story does give us insight into the lives of these priestesses, and I'm sure after that, Postumia was a lot more careful about who she let in on the jokes. That's all for today. Follow along for some more deep dives into Roman history.